We got 8.5-point spread in favor of Kansas City at home. The money line minus 450 for Kansas City, plus 350 for Houston. And then the over-under total set at 41.5. Now, Scotty, the Houston Texans are one of the only team last week that won on the road. Have to go into KC. I'm sorry. The only wild card team, underdog, I should say.
Okay.
Wait.
Were the Rams?
The
Rams were underdogs.
The Rams were underdogs by like 1.5, 2.5 at the when it.
So two underdogs won.
Oh, my bad. All right. Well,
and Washington was an underdog actually.
All right. Maybe I should get my facts straight.
So get your facts straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, Kansas City is favored here. A couple bets I like in this one, Scotty, because I think Kansas City wins this game. Kansas City, they know what they've had the rest. They're all healed up. They got some guys coming back. They've been preparing for this matchup, and they're at home in this one. So, one thing that I mentioned, teaser candidates are live this week. 8.5 is a nice teaser level bet, with teasing KC down to 2.5 in this one with another partner, another team. So that's an option as we go through the rest of the games. Another one that, and fill me in on how you think about this one, but I feel like Travis Kelce's prop is interesting. Over 52.5 total receiving yards. He's participated in 22 postseason games, including Super Bowls. He has exceeded this number in 18 of those 22 contests. And I know for a fact that they're going to be leaning heavy on him, throughout the course of the playoffs. Scotty, how do you like the game, and how do you like some of the these couple options that I've thrown out so far?
I'm thrilled to put in a teaser, but I like KC straight up. You have the single greatest performing quarterback ever in the playoffs in Patrick Mahomes. You have a Texans team that wasn't consistent whatsoever this year. It won in blowout fashion last week, but if you actually watch that game, they did a lot to try and lose that game, especially offensively. But Justin Herbert tried harder. He was like, no, I will not be defeated. And we'll just turn balls over to you, and we'll throw picks, and we'll play poorly. And Justin Herbert had 3 picks in the regular season, threw 4 last week. I think the Chiefs are obviously rested. I think they put out better game plans. And maybe the actual biggest reason, this game feels a lot to me like the KC game against Miami in the wild card round last year. It's going to be cold. It's not going to be as cold as the Miami game last year, which was insanely cold, like negative, whatever. But the high of this day is like 30 degrees. It's going to be cold. The Texans, by the way, this year in cold weather are 0-5. Haven't won a game, or at least, I heard a stat, whether that's this year or in the last 2 years or whatever it is. In the last 5 cold weather games where it gets this cold, they're 0-5 straight up, not against the spread, straight up. I don't think CJ Stroud's going to be able to play in the cold weather well. You have a Chiefs team that's experienced, knows what they got to do. The Houston defense is very, very good, and in fact, very underrated. They're the strength of that football team this year, no doubt, and we watched that in the wild card round. But the Chiefs are going to have game plans to get the ball out, all of a sudden the Chiefs offense should be so much better this year in the playoffs than they were last year with the weapons we're talking. We lost Rashee Rice, and that sucks. But you still have Kelce. You add D-Hop. You add Hollywood Brown. You add Xavier Worthy. None of those guys were in last year. So, yes, Rashee Rice absent hurts. But, those 3 more than make up for whatever else the Chiefs had last year, which was almost nothing. outside of that. It was drop balls and misplays and just a disaster. So I feel really good about KC covering this spread. I feel good about KC in a teaser down to 2.5. The total at 41.5. I probably still like the under. This feels like exactly like the Dolphins game last year, where it's going to be like weird, like 26-10 or something, where the Chiefs win. But to the other side, ironically, when I make these graphics for every week, the Texans were at the Chiefs only several weeks ago. And what do you think the line was for that game? When the Texans
8.5.
No. Nowhere near that. It was 3. The line was 3. And that was what, 3, 4? Well, yeah, that was with like the third to last week of the season. It was the third to last week of the season, regular season. The Texans at Chiefs was -3 for the Chiefs, and now it's jumped to 8.5. But I still don't care. I literally don't care. The Chiefs they're gonna win this football game.
I lean
I think it's
the under
in
2.
Fashion.
I lean the under 2, but the under and then the Chiefs spread is kind of. I mean, it's like it's tricky. It's tricky because if you're thinking it's going to be a low scoring game, probably lean towards the points, right? But at the same time, if you think that the Kansas City defense is going to completely shut down Houston, and I mean that's a whole nother story. So, I mean, this could be what, like if it's not covering the spread, maybe it's like a 17-24, 17-24-ish in that range, maybe. I don't know. I would say, yeah, I'm okay leaning. I'll say lean under. I like the under a little bit, and then teaser as an option. But you like the KC at the full 8.5.
Like under, tease KC down, and KC -8.5.
Because the public and money are both split right down the middle on Chiefs -8.5. It's basically 55-45 public, 55-45 money. So it's really dead center on everything.
And no one's cheering for the Chiefs, so they want the Chiefs to lose.
Interestingly
and
enough,
good news: the Chiefs have a ref crew. The head referee for the game has never. The Chiefs have never lost when he's the head referee, because that's what people like to point out. Granted, the Chiefs don't lose very often, but they'll look to that. So.
The over/under, you're talking about that quite a bit. The public, 81% on the over. The money, 58% on the under. So the under is screaming, take me. Take me on the under. So
the pros like the under. The public is like, why is this number so low?
Yeah, basically. By the way, when we say public and money, the money tends to, lean towards what the pros are doing.
When this game is 26-10, you guys can thank me later.
All right. So I think under is maybe where we're going with this one. But I think either way, I think we see the Chiefs winning this game. So that I don't see any other way that this could go. This should be a Chiefs win.
Lose. That's the other way it could go.
It could, but
it's possible.
I mean,
it's
I guess
not likely, but it's possible.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
And if not, then at -440, you should just put your life savings.
Life savings. Yeah, just unload everything. Let's get to Commanders and Lions in the next game. Now, this game is the Saturday late game. This will be the Detroit Lions hosting the Commanders as 9.5-point favorites at home. The money line -500 on FanDuel Sportsbook for the Lions, and the Washington Commanders +385. The over/under total at a massive 55.5, which is for a playoff game,
monster number for a regular season game, much less a
playoff game, which is insane. So that's something that's fascinating here. I mean, the fact that, right now, the current over-under money is 53% on the under, and the public is 50-50 over-under. So we know that there's probably going to be scoring in this game. 55 is such a large number. I guess I would lean, considering we don't see lines like this very often, I would lean maybe on the under, but still, that's I don't know what to think. When it comes to the spread, it's dead even. Pretty much 51-49 money on when it comes to the Lions and the Washington Commanders. And then same thing with the public as well. This is right down the middle. Yet the line here, or just money line, we think the Lions have a really, really good chance to win this game. So now it's just kind of deciding where we want to approach attack in this game from a betting line standpoint. But how do you want to preview this game? What are you looking for, Scotty, just in general?
I think it's obviously with a 55.5 number, this game's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Should be a lot of points, a lot of fireworks, a lot of offense. That's what the people want, right? Obviously Detroit's defense is pretty beat up. They get a little break with, the bye week and whatnot to get a little more healthy. Commanders went on the road and won a game I actually didn't think they would win. I thought Tampa would take care of his business with the experience, and Tampa playing very well in the playoffs. Mayfield playing very well in the playoffs. Baker. But the cardiac kids. The Washington, literally their last 5 weeks have gone down the last play of this, of the game or whatever. If I lean Washington plus 9.5. Detroit has all the rest and momentum and experience. They don't have a better quarterback. I think Jaden Daniels is already better than Jared Goff, and that doesn't mean Jared Goff's not good. Jared Goff does what he needs to do, but Jaden Daniels has a little bit of I don't want to say Mahomes to him, but a little bit of magic to him, where in the biggest moments he kind of comes up pretty damn big.
Got a little bit of that clutch gene.
He seems pretty clutch.
He's got the fire in his gut.
He does have the fire in his
gut.
I think he won't win as many MVP awards because people are crazy, but I think he's eventually gonna eclipse Lamar Jackson peak. I think obviously he's not as good of a runner as Lamar as far as shaking and pivoting, but straight line speed and running and getting first downs, and he's a better thrower than Lamar for sure. So I think he's better than Lamar moving forward. I think he's going to be really, really good. 9.5 is a big line. That's a big line. And the Lions haven't always played with expectations, right? They're the fun underdog that you just kind of cheer for. Not necessarily recently. Last year they had a great year too. So they came in with expectations this year, but how do you play with those expectations? What do you do? Is Dan Campbell still aggressive beyond belief? Probably. But the lines are so hard to bet for or against because there's 4 plays a game where Dan Campbell goes for it in aggressive nature. And I'm not saying it's the wrong decision or the right decision, but if it works, it's genius. If it doesn't work, you're tilted so far the other direction, it's crazy. I don't know. I think the Lions will move the ball. I think the Commanders will move the ball. I think this game will be a lot of fun. I would take Washington plus 9.5 as a lean, but I don't know.
9.5 is a lot of points. Yeah, that would be a lean. So Washington plus 9.5. Another one I like in this one that I'm surprised it hasn't gone up. Jahmyr Gibbs, his rushing total is 80.5. And I'm kind of all right, we have a lot of running the ball. We have a lot of points. We have a lot of back and forth between these two teams if we're looking at a 55.5 over-under. Commanders' run defense has issues. They're dealing with injuries. Deron Payne, Bobby Wagner could be, issues with their injuries that they have. And then also, too, Washington is a bottom 10 team in missed tackles, the run versus the run, and Gibbs is one of the best at making people miss. I mean, Gibbs has been electric recently. To limit him and to see him get less than 80, I feel like I would probably be on the over if I was like leaning on one side there.
You must have Gibbs as your fantasy guy for the Lions.
Maybe is that he might be up there. Just saying.
You don't, Chris. Spoiler: you took Jared Goff.
Yeah. I was just trying to, see if you guys remembered. Yeah.
And, is Knuckles back for this?
Yes.
Can you confirm or deny this?
Is Montgomery back?
Yes, I think he is. Either way, I think he's going to out-attempt Montgomery.
I actually don't think that's a good thing for the Lions. I know in situations he's good, and maybe I could be way off base, but like, man, is Jahmyr Gibbs way better than David Montgomery in general.
Well, and they use Gibbs more so between the 20s, right? And then, Gibbs or Montgomery ends up getting in on those goal line and, vulturing some of those touchdowns. But like, I just think that there's some issues with this Washington team when it comes to defending the run. So, Gibbs over 80 and a half rushing yards is an option for us if we want to think about that as well.
I mean, if Montgomery's back, that's probably why it's not moving. And if Montgomery is back, you probably want to go for the under.
But how much are they going to lean? And maybe Chairman. Yes, he might be limited. He was a full participant in the walkthrough. They've been pretty interchangeable. Yeah, but I think, if a guy who's been injured coming back and the rhythm that Gibbs is in, being able to, again, move the ball for a majority of the field between the 20s, I think he's going to get some explosive runs against this defense. I don't know why you wouldn't lean on that in this game if you're Detroit. So
I don't know about interchangeable. One guy's averaged 4.2 yards per carry. The other guy's averaged 5.6 and double them in yardage. So I don't see that as interchangeable. Jahmyr Gibbs is clearly the better back. And I'm fine. David Montgomery is a great offset of that. Like when you need a blow, when you need another, or maybe short yardage or whatever it may be, go to David Montgomery. But they're not interchangeable. Jahmyr Gibbs is by far the superior back, and actually a wildly great pick that no one saw coming by the Lions when they took him. They got a lot of heat when they took Jahmyr Gibbs when they did in that first round. And they're laughing at everyone right now because it was a great pick.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of crazy. So, yeah, couple options there. Washington plus 9.5, Gibbs on the over. But otherwise, Lions, I feel like cruising this game. Maybe it's not as big of a spread as, it is a big spread, 9.5. But I still think the Lions get it done here. Let's get to the next one. Rams and Eagles. So these two teams are on a collision course here in Philadelphia. Let's go ahead. Let's get the updated lines on everything. This is the Sunday afternoon game, the earlier game. And this is in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, 6.5-point favorites at home, minus 290 on the money line. The Rams are plus 235 and then 44.5. So went up a little bit here in this FanDuel projection. So that being said, let's talk Philly and the LA Rams. Rams coming off a big win in against the Minnesota Vikings. Again in a neutral field. So now they're flying out to the East Coast. I think there's some challenges with this, right? So the Rams obviously dealing with the fire stuff back home. Whether that was a motivating factor in this last game, I think that, going into Philly, playing a good defense, flying all the way out to the East Coast, And the travel schedule with everything presents some issues here for the Rams. Rams, I feel I got to go back. I saw something earlier in the week where the Rams haven't really fared well in Philadelphia recently. And so that being said, let's break this one down. Scotty, what are your thoughts on the Rams and the Eagles? This is also, if we wanted to take another teaser candidate, just tease the Eagles down to a half point just to win the game. That's an option. The Eagles at -6, 45% of the public, 45% of the money on the Eagles, the rest on the Rams. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this one's weird. Joe Quill's put out their potential snow game here. There is the potential. It's going to be cold. It's going to be very cold. Which you think it initially would favor Philadelphia. They're used to that. It's going to be probably mid-30s for the game here, with the potential for snow or at mid-30s. Snow rain mix or whatever it may be. I'm conflicted in this one. I think the roster for Philly is far superior top to bottom than LA's is. But at the quarterback position, I think Jalen Hurts is really in a funk for whatever reason. He just came back. It was his first game back, but even this year in general, Jalen Hurts hasn't played up to the level that even you would think Jalen Hurts would play. He played phenomenal in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And we haven't seen that Jalen Hurts since. You got your wide receivers reading books on the sideline because they're so bored with the game. And you have talented wide receivers. It's not there's so much talent on that Eagles roster. But then Rams-wise, you have talent on the offense. The defense is okay. But the coaching mismatch in this one is huge. Massive, in my opinion. Sean McVay is a top 5 coach in the league every year, in my opinion, whether they do well or not. He's phenomenal. Nick Sirianni has Down syndrome and is confused all the time and angry. Just an idiot.
You heard it here first.
Well, I know. I've said his face looks like he's not Downs because he's angry. But I said before, if he smiled, he would look exactly like a Down syndrome person because Downs people are the happiest people out there. They love their life and happy for them, but he's angry but also Downsy in the same sense. So it's not a good combo. Sean McVay would be ideally, as a Chiefs fan, when Andy Reid rides off in the sunset, Sean McVay would be like, "Hey, come on in." I would welcome him as the head coach of the Chiefs if Andy Reid ever wants to retire, when that happens.
Real
with
quick,
Pat Mahomes still at the helm.
You say that like you just abandoned his team to coach.
Speaking of McVay, this is wild.
Yeah.
Sean McVay has never played against the same team in the playoffs in all 13 of his playoff appearances. He's played against a different team. He's played his first one starting in 2018. It went Falcons, Cowboys, Saints, Patriots, Seahawks, Packers, Cardinals, Bucks, 49ers, Bengals, Lions, Vikings, and Eagles. He's never played the same team.
That's hard to do with how many games he's played.
Yeah. it's crazy. So I don't know what the odds of that are, but it's pretty crazy. Anyways,
I think the Eagles roster is better. I think the coaching and quarterback is better for the Rams. I'm conflicted on this one.
Do you think
it's going to be cold? But I think that also hurts the Eagles' pass game. I don't think there's going to be a pass game for the Eagles in this game.
Which lends itself to the under, which I kind of lean to. The under 44.5. It's kind of giving us. We got the cold weather factor.
Feels a little basic though.
Both offenses.
There could be some pick sixes or turnovers, defensive touchdowns in this one too.
Yeah,
on both sides.
Public 75%.
Unless they just let They just let Stafford like fake pass it for a touchdown.
75% of the public, 67% of the money, all on the over in this one. But I mean, you got the cold weather. Both
A lot
offenses
of people are on the over.
Yeah. Both offenses kind of have slow starts. Rams defense is decent. Plus, the offensive throwing the football for the Eagles hasn't exactly been great. So they're running the ball, which means it's a grindy run the ball kind of game. Hurts is 5-1 in the to the under in the playoffs. Since 2022, the Rams play 18 regular season and playoffs, play 18 road games outdoors, 14 games, produce 43 points less. This kind of leans Philadelphia 12-2-1 in the under in the last 15 home playoff games. They average close to 43, and the average is 30. They average 36 total. So under could be in play. But I also
seems obvious. I'm shocked more of the money's on over, but I'm also nervous because I don't understand why all the money's on the over. Actually,
they saw the
That's
offense.
confusing me.
They saw the offense of the
What
Rams.
offense?
Maybe
When they,
getting going.
had a defensive touchdown. That offense.
Maybe. I don't.
Yes.
When they got 5 turnovers and 27 sacks in the game last week. That's the offense. What?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Again, if we need a teaser candidate to pair with KC, if we wanted to just tease the Eagles down to half point. Right now they're -6.5, so they would just have to win the game. If we think the Eagles will win the game, then that's a nice fit. But I kind of like the teaser candidate for the Buffalo game. So, but we wouldn't need it for the Buffalo game.
I would actually rather tease the Rams up. And that's not to say I think the Rams will win the game. The Eagles probably will, but I see a lot of avenues where the Rams win this game. That make me nervous. But I don't think the Eagles blow the Rams out.
Okay. So, I mean, you just think they're just going to win the game?
I think taking the Rams up to like over 10 points feels pretty good.
Okay. We'll consider it. I don't know. I mean, maybe
I don't usually do teasers that way, but like, I don't know.
What's up with Cooper Kupp? What's up, Corn Doggy?
I don't know.
Cooper Kupp.
They don't throw him the ball.
All of a sudden, Cooper Kupp is just
things happen.
I don't know what the deal
Every time
is.
he gets thrown the ball, it goes really well for them, but they just don't throw it to him.
The last part of the season, I mean, he hasn't really been doing anything. Believe me, he's been on my fantasy team and he's been on my bench.
Well, but he's not getting targets.
Yeah, it's strange. Maybe it's
I feel
mind
like
games.
Even if he's covered, like throw it to Cooper Kupp because he's Cooper Kupp. But maybe not. I don't know.
Saquon to score 2 or more touchdowns at plus 330. They got Barkley over 110 rushing yards is another one.
I hate the Saquon bet. Like, he doesn't score touchdowns. He has a thief at quarterback that scores all of his touchdowns.
Correct. I mean, Saquon under 128.5 rushing and receiving yards. I mean, he has been getting a lot of. If we think that this could lean under, maybe that's I don't know, maybe part of it. I don't know. We might have to come back to this one as well. Come back to this one, see if we can locate
Chris and I
any.
aren't on the same page all the time, and that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah,
That's okay.
there's some things that I'm like leaning towards that maybe you disagree with, and vice versa. So
Yep.
But hey, we did this last week and we went 4-1. So we'll find the best bets. Don't get me wrong. All right, let's go to the last game, and then we'll narrow down what we want to choose for our best bets. We got Ravens.
Well, I think we already know what's coming out of this game for y'all's best bet.
Yeah, there's a lot of
the more I think about it, the more I'm not sure, but probably yes.
Baltimore Ravens at the game of the week visiting the Buffalo Bills. The spread 1.5. Ravens 1.5 point favorites on the road in Buffalo. Buffalo plus 100 on the money line. Baltimore minus 118 on the money line. 51.5 is the over under. Considering this, I mean, I love teasing Buffalo up. This is another option to pair with Kansas City if we wanted to. Buffalo plus 7.5. I mean, I think we would be fairly safe on the plus 1.5 in general. But I think the line is fairly efficient. So I would be more comfortable teasing up Buffalo Bills, but Buffalo coming off the win against Denver, Ravens coming off a comfortable win against the division rival Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they're going to be playing each other, but here's where I think the Lamar Jackson kind of playoff Lamar might come into play, which is why I'm all over the Bills. I feel like the Bills are the team here in this one. Looking at the public and the money on the money line, it's cut 50-50. Public is 50-50. The money is 53 Ravens, 47 Bills on the money line. Meanwhile, it's exactly, the spread, Bills plus 1. At least this is plus 1, so it's now 1.5. The money was not necessarily split completely down the middle. It was 61-39 in favor of Baltimore on the money when it came to the spread, which, again, this is a very even game, at least from how it's laid out. But I could be on the Bills plus 1.5 in this one, Scotty, but I would feel way more comfortable teasing up Buffalo and just having a little bit of a safety blanket if we wanted to pair it with KC.
Yeah, I love that pairing. Obviously, we had a game this year where the Ravens actually absolutely blew out the Bills. It's weird because I feel like when you look at the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs, you have a triangle of where different teams match up well against the other of those three. Like, I think the Ravens match up really well against the Bills. I think the Bills match up better against the Chiefs than the Ravens do. And I think the Chiefs would rather play the Ravens, quite frankly. But this one's going to be awesome. I mean, this is a great matchup.
Fantastic.
The two MVP, front runners, obviously, should be a lot of fun. I think when plays are made outside of the scheme, and I know it's crazy to say, I know Lamar can do it. I still think the Bills and Josh Allen are better in those situations. Maybe that's just from games against the Chiefs experience, but in general, that dude's insane and really, really hard to stop, regardless of who his weapons are. It doesn't sound, maybe I haven't heard today, but Zay Flowers probably not playing. Last I heard. I think
he's doubtful.
Yeah, I think that hurts the Ravens a bit. I know they have a great run game. Neither defense is great this year. They've had their moments up and down, both of them. It's in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. I think Buffalo wins this game outright. As a Chiefs fan, I'd rather Baltimore win, frankly, but I think Buffalo wins this game. But I'm fine with teasing up Buffalo.
Okay. So that seems good. Also, some different props here that might be interesting. We always look at the rushing, especially two quarterbacks who run the ball as running backs, basically. Josh Allen's over-under total set at 45.5. He's run for 46 plus yards in 6 of his last 8 playoff games. So that would be kind of a sweat. I think that they'll do what they can to limit Josh Allen, but you could do everything you can, and he's still going to get his yards. So
it's tough to bring down.
He's tough to bring down. So I think that could be, I think that could be an option. 45.5.
In a cold game, he's going to run more often than not. So
Meanwhile, you have the Lamar Jackson is 50.5 in his rushing yard total, I believe. I think it's still his is actually it's up to 52.5. So his is kind of up there. I think I'd feel more comfortable with Josh, but
I'd take the under on 52.5, any over on Josh Allen.
you would take
They're
under.
very wildly different runners, obviously, but like in cold weather, I think that favors Josh Allen and his just brute size and strength and hard to bring down. Where Lamar's trying to be shifty and like, I don't know if that plays as well. I really think the Bills win this game. The more and more I think about it.
Yeah,
I know they got dominated by the Ravens early on this year, like week 4 or whatever it was.
the revenge game.
But I really, really think the Bills win this game. I do.
Agreed.
But as a Chiefs fan, again, I would prefer the Ravens win. I would.
Yeah, I think this could be an interesting one for sure. I mean, it's the best game of the week. It's going to be a close game. We got two of the top teams in the AFC, and then we're going to also
argue these are. I mean, some people would argue this is the two top teams in football, and I would be like, I would disagree, but I'd understand that argument. And we're in the divisional round, and you have maybe the two best teams in football. You could argue. Certainly two of the top 4 in my mind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I believe the Bills are going to win this game as well. If I had a pick, I mean, I would even sweat out Bills plus 1.5. But I like I said, I'd rather tease it. So that being said, I mean, money line could be interesting at plus 100. But yeah. All right.
So while this is all happening, chat, drop some of your best bet ideas because we get one each week as well.
Correct. So let's go ahead. Let's put our best bets in. Let's talk through them a little bit, and we could go back through various games. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add in some text here for each of our best bets, and then we're going to get this all uploaded in. So I think one of our best bets, Scotty, was Bills teaser with the Chiefs. So teaser
Chiefs go down to minus 2.5. Bills
Tease
go
it.
to plus 7.5.
KC minus 2.5.
It's big text. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We'll shrink it down here. All right, there we go. And we'll change the color too.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Slash Buffalo plus 7.5. Let's change the color here. We'll do that. Okay. Oops. Okay.
You shrink it a lot.
All right, so there's one. Teaser, KC minus 2.5, Buffalo plus 7.5. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what were some other ones that we liked. We also leaned under in KC. I would be okay leaning under in the KC game. I think the spread on that one is 41.5.
The number was 41.5. I'm fine with taking under there. Like I said, I already told you the score.
you got the
Go ahead and
20
the score.
It's 26-10. I don't know why we have to waste time. I've already seen it play out.
26-10. You're Nostradamus. Yeah. Who is KC playing again? They're playing the Texans. Houston Texans at home. Tease Houston up. Tease Lions down. Tease Eagles down, says Joe. I mean, I like teasing Eagles down. I mean, I could be talked into well, I mean, what's this? Let's see. Eagles would be a pick 'em. Eagles would be a pick 'em basically, or they have to win by they have to win the game. And then, I mean, we kind of doubled up on Bills last week in teasers. I mean, if we feel confident in either one of these, we could always double up. I would be way okay with that, for sure. Let me go ahead and add KC under.
It's hard to have 4 bets in 4 games. I don't feel great
Yes.
about that.
Okay.
So,
KC.
one thing I actually did this week, I did a parlay where I took every home team money line.
So you lost.
Under.
No,
you
for
won.
this upcoming week.
Oh, this upcoming week.
Yeah. Yeah, not last week. So, yeah, I got KC, Detroit, Philly, and Buffalo.
I'm worried about Philly.
Yeah.
I don't like Philly. I have a weird feeling about Philly.
I mean,
It might be my
at least-
hatred though, so like that could
Yeah.
play into it.
so the Rams money line, at least on my end, is plus 222. So maybe you get a little bit of value trying to go Rams money line. Although obviously
I don't know. I don't like.
We don't show stats here. I would rather take Rams plus 6.5.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I feel more inclined towards Philly than I do anything else. There was.
So we don't like that game.
Yeah.
We don't agree on that game.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, I would just take. I mean, the juice on the Philadelphia Eagles minus 290 is too heavy, so it's not even worth.
I mean, talk about teasers. Like maybe you could tease the over under in the Rams Eagles game up to about 50 and take the under.
I never tease totals.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a sucker bet, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, you don't tease totals. It
Um,
doesn't work out well.
I would be okay doing KC and Philly in a teaser as well. But also we have the Gibbs. I think Gibbs over 80.5 rushing yards, but also we had the Allen 45.5 over as options. So between the Gibbs 80.5, Allen 45.5, and then the other teaser, I think we could be rounding out a nice little top 4.
I'm just concerned that Detroit will make bad choices and give Montgomery the ball too often. But
Yeah, that's
Gibbs
true.
should get over 80. He should.
He
Just
should.
Give him the ball.
Here.
He'll break one.
So, Scott, you think the Texans only scored 10 points?
Mm-hmm.
Their team total, at least on my end, is 16.5.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you'd want to put the under as an option.
I would not think they put up 17. Yeah.
Okay, so Texans under 16.5 is not. Could be one of those bets.
That's just my opinion, but
Yeah.
So this is another option.
what about just Washington plus? What if we tease Washington? I know you don't tease up a lot, but like up to like 15.5.
Up to 15.5. I mean that feels super safe, right? Does the odds change when you tease it like even further,
No.
like that higher? It's always the same, right?
It's all about the amount of points you tease, so it doesn't matter. The odds don't change. No.
So 15.5.
15.5 and
Philly minus just to win.
fine.
Or
I
not?
really want that one. I'll give you that one.
I don't care.
I'm nervous about that one, but I'll give you that one. I think Philly should win. I think they should win.
But you're worried about Sirianni.
But what do we always say, Chris? In the playoffs, the better quarterback and better coach usually win, and the Rams have both. But everywhere else, the Eagles are far superior. Everywhere else, so it's interesting.
Yeah. Or we we have the running props too. If we want to just
So while that's going
get
on,
rid
do
of
you
this
have any
teaser
more bets in the
altogether.
chat?
We can keep. Well, you put KC again.
Yeah. So you want Washington plus 15.5?
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to get blown out by Detroit?
They might.
They might. That's
might.
not. They
might.
in the slightest.
But they also might win the game outright. So I don't know.
I mean, I think it feels safe. All right. I think the line on the game is fairly fit. I think it should be around 7.5 based off of like some of the simulations that I look at. So 15.5. I mean, that's a massive number. So all right, there we go. So that's another teaser. And then we have Gibbs or Allen. We have
Allen who again? Remind me.
Josh Allen.
Oh, at
Josh Allen 45.5 or Gibbs at 80.5. But I think Allen seems the safer bet there.
Yeah, let's go Allen.
Okay. All right. Last one. We'll do Allen. Josh Allen. Over 45.5 rushing yards. Okay, there we go. We'll take a look at these, make sure we're locked in, and then we'll see what the chat wants to do for theirs. So Josh Allen,
Jackson MVP, probably Brendan, but no, shouldn't be. Shouldn't be.
Well, what's up, Ash? Who's winning, Baltimore or Buffalo? Buffalo. We got Buffalo. That's who I would take.
We lean Buffalo, although Baltimore is a bad matchup for Buffalo. But outright, I think Buffalo's a better team. I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. So I'm taking Buffalo.
Who you taking the coaching matchup between McDermott and Harbaugh?
Harbaugh's a better coach. I don't think McDermott's great.
Okay, so there we go. So teaser, KC down to 2.5, Buffalo up to 7.5. Love it. I think we both feel really good about Houston KC under 41.5. The teaser for Washington up to 15.5, Philly minus a half. And then we also have Josh Allen over 45.5 rushing yards. Feel good?
4-0.
4-0, baby. Let's go.
I was gonna say, how y'all 4-1 when I'm pretty sure y'all only made 4 bets last week.
Gotta ask Chris. I don't know.
Oh, wait. Did we do 5? We have one more. Oh, we do have one more, don't we?
Do you?
Wait, we did.
I think you
One,
did
2, 3, 4. Yeah, we went 4 and 1.
We did-
Yeah, we did 5 bets. So we need one more, which we could fit in the Gibbs.
No, we don't have to do another. Why?
You want to stick to 4?
Scotty's done with this shit.
No, I'm just like, why? We do 4 every week. Now we're doing 5 when there's less games. That seems harder, but
That's
yeah,
true.
we
Yeah,
can-
we did 5 last week. Just I don't know why we did 5. We just did 5 and we nailed it. So we can just do 4. That's cool with that.
let's go 4-0. Get to a cool 8-1, and then reassess.
Sounds good. Now, chat, you guys need to help out. What do you want your best bet to be? You guys got to redeem yourselves because you're 0-1, and I know you got some dog left in you. So you get that fire in your gut.
Do you have fire in your gut?
Yeah, I think you do. So make sure you're picking the best bet in the chat. Vote, vote, vote. Houston plus 14.5. Detroit minus 3.5. The Houston plus 14.5. Philly minus half. You have Houston under 16.5. Oh, you know what? Another one that was interesting. Wasn't there a team total? I think it might have been team total. I think 33.5 team total for the Lions game.
Detroit? Yeah.
I think Detroit Lions team total is 33.5, which I think is kind of crazy. I would probably go under. I'd probably go under 33.5 if I had to choose.
Isn't everyone going under there though?
I don't know. I don't have the stats on team totals.
Yeah, that one makes me nervous. That game might just be like 41-33 at the end.
The Sims that I follow have it home points around 30. For Detroit, road around 23, 30 to 23 ish, give or take. Which would put it at 53 and 53 ish total points, which still lends itself to the under on a massive 55.5. So I don't know. Vote, guys. The leading Houston under 16.5 on the total team total. Is that right, Rec?
Yeah. Yep.
Under
That's
16.5.
It's a good bet.
They
may not score. Frankly.
The Sims for that game have it 24 for KC, around 24, and around 16 for Houston. So it would be it's right around that team total at 16.5. They have it at 16.2. So you could be sweating that one a little bit, I think. Unless you're Scotty and you think they're only going to score like 7 points.
But,
No,
I mean,
I
gotta
said
sweat.
10. I said 10.
Do we want to actually I see on here, what should the best bet be? A KC, Detroit, Philly, Buffalo money line parlay. Are money line parlays interesting to you, Scotty, in this? I mean, we had to swap out one of our teasers. If we wanted to do a money line parlay with
On all four?
not all four, maybe just do like our so if we did a money line parlay with KC, Detroit, and Philly, that puts us, I don't know if we're getting as much value as we should probably get, is minus 103. But if we throw Buffalo in there, we're almost getting 2-1. So a money line parlay with KC, Detroit, and Buffalo? I mean, I don't hate it.
Our record only reflects how well we do on our bets, not the odds, Chris. We might as well
That's
not
true.
complicate things.
That's true. Yeah, so if anything, it would be Philly. Philly, Detroit, and KC and there it's you know, almost even for you. So a $10 bet wins you $9.72 in that one. So is that,
I don't love it.
you don't love it?
No.
Worried about those Chiefs?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe says he should be taking Houston money line.
Take it. Take Houston. I mean, hopefully at $2 or something. Like, don't bet a lot on that one because it's not gonna hit. But.
Vote, guys. These are our best bets that we have. We went 4-1 last week. We did 5 picks last week. We're only doing 4 this week. I'm saving my money for Gulfstream Park next week, says Joe. What else do we got?
Enjoy Gulfstream Park. Don't know what that means, but it sounds great.
If Casey wins, it will be by 3 or less, says Diacola.
False.
I
It's
mean,
playoff time.
Yeah.
I'll be in trap for the Pegasus World Cup race. Which one? Which race is that?
It's a World Cup race, Chris, with Pegasus. So horses.
Blind horses specifically.
Race horsing. Race horsing. Race horse. Pegasus World Cup.
Horse racing, perhaps.
We need to go to the Kentucky Derby, by the way. We need to do the Derby. When are we going to do the
I think
Derby?
that's like, well, now that's years away, Chris. We have small kids, so we'll go eventually. But it'll be a long time from
It
now.
might be. Keep voting, guys. We have a little more time. And I know there's more of you guys in the chat. Vote. What should and we're going to be keeping tabs on your pick this weekend. We'll revisit these on Sunday when we're doing our halftime show. We'll do all of the previews or the recaps during halftime for the other games. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We're going to have most likely a complete Buffalo and Baltimore game that we're going to stream live in the Action Lab this Sunday. Halftime will be the recaps. And then that will be our show. So you will miss us if we go later. Or if you would try to show up later. But vote. I know I see a couple more votes rolling in. Right now, leading is the 16.5 total. The right behind it is the Philly Houston teaser. Are we going to get a tie?
No, we're gonna have the Houston under, which people are smart. Well done. Well done.
Where's Cuban to make it a tie?
We haven't summoned him by his normal.
Oh look, Michael Porter Jr. did the thing.
Oh, MPJ had a great game tonight, didn't he? He's probably the best player on this roster.
It's a tie. Make it 2 community picks, says Joe.
Michael Porter Jr. without Nikola Jokic in the starting lineup went 2 of 4 from the field. He shot the ball 4 times. You gotta love it.
Come on, man. Come on. More traction for the money line parlay. 2 to 3 to 2 to 1. It's a heat. It's a dead heat. Speaking of horses. And the bets are coming down the track. Here we go. KC, Detroit, Philly, coming down the stretch, and they are gaining traction. Houston team total under 16.5 coming in first, and we have the teaser 14.5. Philly minus half just to come in here as well. All racing down the final stretch of the race.
Houston Detroit teaser just sitting there licking itself.
Yeah, they didn't pee before the race started, so here we are. Keep voting, guys.
Almost done.
Almost done. And here comes Kryptonite.
I don't have that old school like horse racing
Hey,
announcer voice.
there's Cuban. Of course, Cuban comes in fired up. Hey,
He's got some fire in
see?
his guts.
Spicy.
But he
Behind
missed
this
his
whole
chance to make it
time,
a tie.
but there it is.
There it is.
The
Houston
race is
team
closed, and
total.
Houston under 16.5.
And a photo
What
finish.
a wise bet from our community. You guys have never been so smart than you are right now.
I feel like our community is going to sweat the shit out of that one.
Nah.
All right,
Ain't no
guys.
way.
Just note, if that one doesn't hit, we can blame Scotty this time.
Yeah.
Blame away. Blame away.
So you
And
guys.
but that means I deserve a you're welcome. Thank you. Like a thank you when it does hit.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Yeah, I'll say you're welcome for sure.
All right, guys. So you see the 4 best bets that we have made on the screen. 4-1 last week, as mentioned. And then the community pick is Houston under 16.5. So we will track all of those coming this Sunday and where we land. So, all right, guys, that will do it for the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed everything. It's been fun. So we are going to fix all of the potato issues that we had earlier on in time for tomorrow's NBA stream. So make sure you guys tune in. If you want to talk some hoops, you want to hang out, we can talk some NBA All-Star voting. We can talk a little bit of Adam Silver was talking through some things on one of the shows he was on. I think it was on ESPN he was on with Colin Cowherd talking about some of the things that they're maybe thinking about doing with trying to get more viewership and 3-point lines and different rule changes. So interesting stuff, but maybe we could talk through some of that. We could talk through some of the standings as we are approaching the mid-season and what we see as far as the power rankings go. So tune in tomorrow. Power Hour. We'll watch some games. Otherwise, absolutely had a blast with you tonight, even with all of the technical difficulties. So thank you guys for staying in there, hanging in, and supporting the show. Adam Silver helped the Sixers finalize the new arena coming to Philly in 2031. Is that the same year that Joel Embiid is going to play in Denver for the first time ever? That game's coming up here in a little bit.
I would have guessed Joel Embiid being dead at 2031.
He might
more likely.
I mean, he'd be probably around 40, maybe.
He's living life big, you know.
Yeah. The annual.
I'm dying this year, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not hating. I'm dying this year.
it's just a matter of time. The annual 76ers dodging is coming up Tuesday the 21st. The Nuggets host Philadelphia. Chances Joel Embiid plays in that game?
0.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I don't,
That's the exact
0.
opposite thing of what you
0
said.
does not mean
He is
there's
not.
a chance.
I mean, he's not that guy anymore, guys. Let's just put it like it is.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Shout out to Chairman and his Detroit Pistons, who are on their way to an NBA championship this year too.
He's a little more focused on the Lions, but yeah, shout out.
He's like, forget the Lions. Put everything all in on the Pistons. Let's go.
Just a diehard basketball fan through and through.
Yes. Thank you guys. Medusa, good night. Hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your work week, school week, whatever you got. I'll see you back here for NBA Hoops. And we'll both see you back here for the Bills and Ravens.